today we are going to discuss about how to make the hairline look natural. So we are getting a lot of patients nowadays coming to correct their hair transplants. The hairline looks very fake, looks very plastic, because it looks like as if there is fencing on the front of the face. The patients are getting the consciousness of that, and they want to correct it, and you know that how difficult it becomes once something has been done. You have to extract the grafts, you have to plant more grafts in the front, so it becomes not the best that you could do. So we all know that the hairline is the gateway to the face, and the hairline, the position of the hairline from the eyebrows and from the eyebrow center, as well as the position of the temple and the balance of hairline and temple, that is very, very crucial to the naturalness of the hair transplantation. The first vital point of hairline designing is we should know that the left and right side of the hairline, that is this side and that side, they should be nearly symmetrical, not necessarily exactly the measurement should be same in the left and right side, but nearly to the eyes it should look symmetrical. So that has to be kept in mind, and of course other points will be taken care of, but this symmetry of left and right side to the eyes, it should look grossly symmetrical. The skull bone and the protuberance of the skull bone on the front are different in the different person, so it cannot be symmetrical left and right. So sometimes it is elevated, sometimes it is depressed, so left and right are a little bit asymmetrical. So this is very vital to see here. If you see this face on the left side, the face is nearly symmetrical, the hairline that we have designed, but if you measure it, then you will have some discrepancies. Another point is very important is how to keep the frontotemporal angle and the balance of the frontal line as well as the temporal line, and keeping it correct, keeping the right the measurement, that gives that adds into the aesthetic value of the hairline. It is an art. No two faces on earth are similar, so it is a very customized job. So one has to customize according to the facial profile, the shape of the nose and shape of the chin, and a lot of other things. They will guide you to make the hairline and the temple point. So this is a designer's job. As I told, no two faces on earth are similar. God is the greatest designer. He has designed a face. He has taken different elements from the face, like from the cheekbone, from the chin, from the eyebrows, and he has made a customized face. So also when we design, we have to keep all these elements in mind. So each and every element has got some contribution. So also the hairline. So hairline has its contribution in terms of how you are positioning it. It should not be too low, it should not be too up, it should not be too flared up, and how the hairs have been falling out of the hairline, how irregular we are creating. So those are the very artistic, subtle points, but that gives naturalness to the hairline. So the second most important point after the symmetry is flaring up of the frontotemporal angle. So note, when you look at somebody's mature male's hairline, so there is always some depth. So this is called the frontotemporal angle. So this angle has to be maintained. So when a child starts growing up, becomes mature, this angle and the frontotemporal, this point, it recedes up. So I'll show you some slides where I'll show how the hairline evolves. So here I wanted to show you that in the left side, look, it is a very natural hairline and a very natural frontal angle, but the angle is preserved. On the right side, the angle is not preserved and they have flared it, so that looks very unnatural. That looks a little bit of feminine or girlish. So this is unnatural, which is flared up, and the left side, it is natural because it's not flared up, and this angle is always acute, like less than 90 degree, and on the right side, if you see, they have made it obtuse more than 90 degree, maybe 120 degrees, so that is to be avoided. So here in this slide, this is a 9-year-old child. You can see the hairline has just started templing, a little bit of indentation has started. So this is a 9-year-old child. 12-year-old child, where you can see the indentation is more and the depth is a little bit more, just started up. He is not bald, he is not balding either, he is maturing, the hairline is maturing. The hairline of a 40-year-old male, where you can see he is not bald, but there is a natural indentation, and that gives the naturalness to the face of this person. Hairline of a female who is 40 years old, and you can see there is a C-shaped curve, and there is no indentation, there is no depth. So these all four pictures are from my family only, my two sons, myself, and my wife. Just I wanted to show how the hairline evolves in males. And follicle, but if you have a magnification up to more than 10x or more than 15x and you look for it, then we'll find that there is a very small tiny telogen hair hiding, and after plantation this telogen would grow up. Here if you can see, there is a double hair follicle, double graft containing two follicles that is coming up. So if there are multiple, then that will give a very unnatural look. That will give you like a fencing kind of thing. So having higher magnification as well as eyes and minds to look for this kind of follicles which are hiding the telogen hair during the procedure and making the hairline design is important to avoid the double hair coming up on the front. So if you see again, just to highlight how the telogen hair they hide. So they are telogen hair. This graft contains 3 hair, but grossly looks like one because the bigger one is seen, and if you don't have magnification, then you have the tendency to miss out these 2 single telogen hair, and which would eventually grow on the hair on the graft, and that will give a 3 hair. So if this is being planted on the hairline as single, but later on you'll get 3 hair coming on the hairline. Here I just wanted to highlight in the hairline minimum of 6 to 7 layers of single hair follicles to be planted from the front to the to the some depth, maybe 1 to 2 centimeters. So in these hair follicles, as I told, they're very irregularly placed and they're very thin and less colored and slow growing. And if you see, they're arranged. This is the natural hairline versus where hair has been planted, they have grown, but on the hairline you have got double and triple follicles. So that gives the unnatural look to the hairline. So 6 to 7 layers of single follicles in a irregular fashion planted on the hairline gives a natural look. versus unnatural look containing double and triple follicles. Same thing to highlight, in the left side you can see the softer look because of the single follicles, multiple layers of single follicles from the front to back, very regularly placed, versus very hard unnatural look because of the double triple follicles, shiny, very stubborn, stucky appearance on that side. We are having some close-up pictures of these grafts, how they're coming up and standing, and clearly you can make out that somebody has got a hair transplant done, just like trees on the sides of the road, the way it is planted in a very regular fashion, thicker ones, so it looks like very pattern kind of thing. So that kind of unnatural look comes when you don't become very diligent in choosing right kind of hair and putting it very regularly on the hairline. The same thing to highlight, like to give a softer look with single hairs, and hard look comes with multiple follicles. So now the most important point here comes is from where we should pick up the single hair to plant on the hairline. So now knowing that single hairs to be planted on the hairline area is important, but the next generation thought is from where we should choose the single hair follicles which should be match the hairline. So the hairline hair, they are usually on a person who is not bald. If you see, they are thin, they are less colored, as well as slow growing. So these three parameters have to be kept in mind. So on the occipital hair on the back side, usually they are thick and they're rapidly growing and they're very dark. And if you plant those hair in the front, our single hair, they are not going to look that natural. To make it most natural, we should search for these single hair follicles. As I told, the hairline follicles, naturally they're, in this slide you can see that they're very thin, less colored, whereas on the occiput they're very thick. So where to search for this kind of hair? So these kind of hair are available just above the ear, sometimes just below the behind the ear, or sometimes above the neck. So depending upon the patient, and you have to actively search for this kind of hair, and you have to search them and you have to place them on the hairline to make it look very natural. So now strategically we are going to take the hair from the posterior part of the scalp just above the nape of the neck, so that these hair, just the lowest portion of the trimmed area, so they are like thin, less pigmented, slow growing, they would go to the front, the anteriormost part of the hairline. Strategic plan of putting graded thickness of the hair. The thinnest hair would come on the anteriormost part, and gradually they will come to the posterior part, the thicker hair will come. So this lower portion of the trimmed area has been taken out, and they are being segregated. So here strategically the singles which have been taken, they have been placed on the hairline. The last point in hairline design is a hairline hair which emerges from the skin. What we have to see there is to the skin surface, the hair is around 15 to 25 degree. So you have to ensure that if you plant the hair a little bit up, then it becomes more obtuse. It becomes like 45 degree, 60 degree, 80 degree, 90 degree. That gives a very unnatural look. So it has to be very, very accurately placed to the skin, maybe 15 to 25 degree. And when it grows, then it gives a naturalness. So just to summarize, what we discussed in hairline design is, first is the symmetry of left and right side. Second is avoid the flaring thing. Third is put only single follicles in the hairline. And fourth is use those single follicles from that area where we'll get slow growing, they should be thin, and they should be less pigmented. And of course the last point, the angle of the hair, that angle of the hair exiting from the skin should be around 15 to 25 degree. So if you keep all these things in mind, then probably you will create a very natural looking hairline. Thank you.